Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, question below me without notice and me ask him long good plan Minister Block Coffe. Mr. Speaker, Mission Appeal lo making mouse long all farmers. Lig Belevi blongol. Mr. Speaker, in terms of coffee in the Eastern Islands, also lo Chimbu na plant yard in Papua New Guinea. Between 4 to 5% of the coffee, all export coffee bloimi, and come along all rural areas. By addressing this issue, lo assisting all farmers bloimi the rural areas, government has been put on a policy called the Freight Subsidy Program policy. Mr. Speaker, this is a policy, and one of the vital policy of the government. Now this is a policy that you are investing 1 million kina lo moving freight na assisting all farmers bloimi. The return of coffee and Jumisaksim, for every 1 million, we get about 4 million kina. That's the rate of the return belong. Farmers lo yumi. Belevi blol. Now me like to ask him, good plan Minister of Coffee and this freight subsidy program. Last year, all farmers in been benefit longam. This year, all farmers too, lo coffee, in benefit longam. Now all like sawe one time, all farmers lo coffee will benefit longam. Farmers inshallah karamui. Farmers in Salo, Ramu, farmers in Salo, Buslo Kevian, farmers in Salo, Buslong, Alatau. Plant yields farmers depend on the freight subsidy program. You know, lo coffee tasol, but also lo cocoa too. So me asking good Minister Bloimi, this is freight subsidy program one time, but government releasing money to assist them all farmers Bloimi. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Member Bloyumi lo Koroka. No, this is a good question. Before me answering this question, me take him this time. No, welcome you, Speaker, back to the chair. It's always good to see you there and directing all the traffic in this house. So, thank you. But back to the question. It's a very good question, and coffee, as we all know, supports about 450,000 households in this country. That's about 3 million individuals we're talking about. Coffee used to be the leading agricultural export in our country, but unfortunately, we say the oil palm has taken over. But one point that I want to make today is that the retention rate from oil palm. Who owns this industry and how many of our people are benefiting from oil palm directly? Do we own that industry or not? So as a minister for this commodity, coffee, I think coffee, we are still leading in this country. Yes. Because the coffee industry is owned by Papua New Guineans, about 3 million Papua New Guineans. So to the coffee farmers and growers out there, we have to be thankful to this government, Marape government, for creating a ministry that can be specific and that can be microscopic in the attention to details insofar as coffee is concerned. Whilst I would have loved to have been given a prior notice on this question, but let me try and answer in the best ability that I can. But the freight funding that the good member is referring to is parked under the Department of Agriculture. It's not parked under CIC. And so our farmers out there, please, that's where the money has been parked all of this time. And we've been writing to Treasury that what debt is due to coffee be parked under CIC, and that has never happened. But for this year, the good news is we have, this government has been specific, has been clear on its direction for coffee, and there's a substantial increase in the budget.
Yes.
And as a result, there's a component for freight support as well, price support, freight support, the plantation rehabilitation. There's about 80 or 90 million. That's a big budget that this government has appropriated, and so for the freight support, good member, as you know, and as we all know, Coffe is the epicenter of Coffe is in Eastern Highlands, and sometimes I tend to wonder, and the questions that have been asked on this floor, on the Connect PNG program, that there are places in Eastern Highlands where 70 to 80% of our coffee come from. Similarly to Wellpump, to Cocoa, to Copra. These are the places that we need to connect them up with road. The Connect PNG program. Connect PNG program funding. Connect PNG program funding is not a funding to connect from one district to another within a province. It should never be the case.
Good point, good point.
Whether that's been done or not, I'm making a point because there are a lot of coffee farmers in Eastern Highlands that have traveled. That have traveled one whole week in this particular province. And there are places and plantations and hectares of people. Of people that needs to be connected by road, so that this produce, the coffee can come out. They're similar to other community crops as well. Anyway, let me not bore you all with all the side talks. Back straight to the point. We have what we call to help our farmers this year. We got a 10 million for price support. That money under my watch will be paid directly to the farmers. Farmers, I mean smallholders and the blockholders. Smallholders are the ones with 1 to 5 hectares of plantations. 1 hectare is about 3,000 trees. Yeah, 1 to 5 hectares is the small farmers, smallholders. And the blockholders are 6 to 20 hectares. Anything beyond that is a plantation. So for the smallholders and the blockholders, the 10 million is for you. But for you to qualify, we will introduce what we call a green gold card. That card operates on a similar platform as the visit arrivals card. When you go out of the country, or any visitors that come into the country, they complete a form called the arrival card. It's the same card, same principles, but we will extend it to include the name of the village, the council word, the LLG, the district, and the province where that farmer is from. We will also include the bank account details of that particular farmer. And that card, once completed and officially launched by way of our government policy, that card will be then stationed at the factories, at the wet bin and the dry bin factories around the country. And once the farmer comes to the factory and sells his or her produce, he or she will be required to complete that form as well, good member. Sorry, Speaker. He or she will be required to complete that form, and that form will be kept at the factory. And then that form will be the property of the CIC, Coffe Industry Corporations Limited. Every month, that form will be remitted to the CIC. Similarly, the visit arrival cards is the immigration's property. And the Tourism Promotion Authority goes to immigration, picks up that card, the arrival card, and enters into a database. And that is how you work out the visit arrivals in this country, whether they are bona fide tourists, whether they are PNG citizens returning to the country, whether they are visitors or visiting families and friends. Similarly, that card will be picked up, will be lodged at the CIC, and CIC will enter it into a database that we are developing. And then, at the end of each month, you get a printout of who is the real coffee farmer out there. That individual by name, by account details, by council word, by LLG, by district, and by province. So we as politicians, it's a rare opportunity that's been created by Coffe that we can tap into the CIC system, and then you get a printout every month and you will see who the coffee farmers are there. And this can be emulated into oil palm, into cocoa, into copra. So we would know who the real farmers are there. And these are the people that get their hands dirty. These are the people that we need to support. Our Papua New Guinean citizens. Once we start to do that, you will never see our citizens on the streets selling cold water, Coca-Cola, boy, smoke. It's an eyesore. Our people must need to get back to the land. And for us in Coffe, this is what we will do. And then the price support money, the 10 million that we have this year, we will know exactly who is the rightful recipient of that money. That money is not for the factory owners, export license owners, the big players in the industry. This money is for our small people in the rural communities that are involved in coffee across this country. That is the direction we are taking in coffee. And this is a paradigm shift in the way we've looked after our farmers in coffee. I am pretty sure and certain that this will work for our people. So to you coffee farmers out there, this government hasn't forgotten you. We've come up with this vehicle through which you can get double pricing for your coffee. Yeah. Because you are the ones that make your hands dirty. You me online lo place walking honey dirty. You me finding good lo price blow coffee blow you me. This la government blow you me. And me looks how well this la pain blow you pla. So, honorable member, your question is in order. And I hope I am in order to answer that question.
W option leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My question without notice this morning, Honourable Speaker, goes to the good Minister for Oil Palm. But whilst I have this opportunity, Minister, I would like to give our full commendation to the Marape Government, and especially in the Prime Minister exercising his prerogative to appoint certain ministers that have been absolutely outstanding in their performance and policy implementation. The opposition not only holds the executive government to account, we give credit where credit is due too. Firstly, I would like to give our full recognition and commendation to the good Minister for Coffee. As of late, you have been the #1 topic of discussion in both Eastern Highlands and Simbu, and I completely salute you. Thank you. Through you, Honourable Speaker. Secondly, I would like to commend the Honourable Minister for Higher Education and Sports for your interaction with the institutions, for elevating the status of the institutions, for driving policy effectively. It is a breath of fresh air, and for a first-time MP, both you and the Minister for Coffee, we would like to commend you. And on that note, I would like to also take this opportunity to thank